Hey, my name is Shadowsense and you're watching Sakura Angels. That's right, I'm playing another Sakura game. Because why not? I did the last one last year. I did Sakura Spirit, and that was just a ride. So I figured maybe every September I do a new sexy visual novel for all of you. That was cringe, I know. Alright, let's go. I know absolutely nothing about this. Whoop. Forgot to start my timer. I need to keep on that. Every night, I have the same dream. Every night, I'm always brought back to this place without fail. And then, every morning, I'll wake up with no memory of this place at all until the next time I fall asleep. This is a little spooky. Not a single night has went by without my consciousness being dragged into this abyss. This realm is devoid of light, so much so that I can't even see my hand in front of my face, no matter how desperately I wave it. The concept of sound is just as absent, my steps silent, my distressed cries swallowed by the bordering darkness as quickly as they had left my mouth. I'm in a bleak, barren wasteland of nothingness. Spending my prolonged amount of time here begins to make me doubt even my own existence. This is really existential right off the bat. Yet, despite feeling suffocated by a striking absence of anything, I know I'm not alone. Something is watching me, stalking me from the shadows. Can't say for sure what it is, but every once in a while I catch sight of something from the corner of my view. A pair of burning, bright eyes fixated purely on me. Okay, I don't want to see this. They hate me. So I'm blocking the screen because I'm a pussy. Despise me. I did this a lot during Doki Doki Literature Club. I didn't have face cam back then, but I shit you not. I did this a lot during DDLC. Despise me. There's an overwhelming sense of animosity radiating from whoever they belong to. I know they want nothing more than to lash out and attack me, but something is holding them back. A force they truly despise. Invisible chains that bind and restrict them from the one thing that is on their mind. At first, when I began dreaming about this place, the eyes were distant like glimmering stars. But with each passing night, the eyes seemed to inch ever closer and shine ever brighter. I don't want to get jump scared, that's why I'm covering the screen. I don't want to get jump scared, but so far it's shown me nothing. I think whatever force has been holding them from me is beginning to fade. What will happen when these eyes reach me? I shudder to think. I know it's just a dream, so I shouldn't be afraid. But everything I experience here is so vivid. None of the usual murky haze that shrouds such dreamlike environments seems to exist here at all. I have perfect clarity. I can feel the stagnant, freezing air all around me enough to incite a shiver out of me every once in a while. Since I'm so used to this dream, I know how it'll end. I'll wade through the darkness for what seems like an eternity, never finding anything until the morning finally comes and pulls me out of this nightmare. At least, that's how it usually ended. Something is different tonight. Those hateful, burning eyes that always kept just out of sight before, I'm suddenly confronted by them. Never before have they been so close. Never before have I stared straight back into them. Their narrowed, piercing gaze roots me to the spot, and a shooting pain surges through me. I can't move. I can't breathe. And then, from out of the darkness, a crooked smile spreads just as sinister as the eyes. Whoa! So close? I can practically taste the freedom. It won't be long now. Enjoy the peace while you can, boy, for your days are numbered. And then, everything shall change. Ah! Waking up! My arm was going to sleep. This is a nice-ass bedroom, man. Damn. Fuck. Wish my bedroom was this nice. Ugh. My head is killing me. These morning migraines are the worst. Every morning without fail, I always wake up to the sensation of not unlike my skull being pounded by a jackhammer. It's almost like a heartbeat. I feel like my head is going to split open. It's weird though, because even though the pain is so intense, it never lasts long. In the space it takes me to get up and head for school, the pain is usually reduced to just a dull throb at the back of my skull by then. So it isn't too much of a hassle in the grand scheme of things. Certainly isn't a fun way to wake up. I just find it odd how consistent it seems to be. Anyway, enough pondering these weird mysteries. It's time to tackle the day! After a moment of wrestling with my blanket, I swing my legs around and drag myself out of bed. A quick look at my bedside clock tells me it's still early. Too early. If I had it my way, the world wouldn't start until at least a good way into the afternoon. Right? Relatable mood. But sadly, life just isn't that wonderful. Pulling back the curtains to let the light flood into my room, I suppress the urge to let out a hiss, almost blinding myself in the process. Too bright! Oh, natural light! The rest of my time getting ready is spent fighting with my uniform, a tie becoming all the more problematic to put on when you're half asleep. Oh god, I think I've actually got my hand stuck in it. Almost choking myself to death in the most pathetic fight ever, I finish putting on the tie and the rest of my uniform complying peacefully with me. Unable to find a comb, I settled for just flattening my hair down with my hands. Blinking into the mirror, I'm left staring back at someone with messy black hair. It's close enough. Somewhat dressed and somewhat ready, I stumble out of my room, my legs still not fully awake. Uneven steps carry me dangerously down the stairs and I soon emerge into the kitchen. I'm greeted by silence. The kitchen is empty. A familiar scene for me. My parents are what you might call workaholics. Basically, they spend more time at their respective jobs than they ever do here. I only ever get to catch them during the evening while we're eating and everyone is off to bed and the cycle repeats. Is there any way to change this? No. Huh. Sakura Spirit had the, I don't know what you call this, the UI better. Don't get me wrong, I understand they have to work in order to keep us living comfortably, so I don't hate them for it. It just gets, I don't know, lonely? Ah well, there's no use moping around. It's been like this for years, so I don't know why I was getting all emotional about it now. The plus side of them not being around is that I quickly had to learn how to cook for myself. It's amazing how fast you can adapt to that sort of stuff when you're starving. I don't think I have enough time for anything fancy to eat for breakfast, so I just settle for toast. Are you gonna do the thing where you run into school with a bit of toast out of your mouth because you're just so gosh dang late? You can never go wrong with toast. Hey, that's true. Okay, you might be able to go wrong with toast. I have sudden traumatic flashbacks to when the toaster erupted into flames. How the fuck did that manage to happen, dude? It's toast. Ah, what a day that was. But I've learned from my mistakes now. Won't happen a third time. Ha! I thought something was gonna happen. Having devoured the only slightly charred toast, I sling my bag over my shoulder before starting for the front door. I give the empty house one last look over before opening the door. It's kinda depressing having no one to say goodbye to. But again, this has been the same for every weekday morning since forever ago. The sun is shining high in a cloudless sky, birds are chirping overhead, waves of students are passing by, happily chatting with one another as they all make their way to school. It's all so horrible. I'm not much of a morning person, so I can't even begin to fathom how everyone can be so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now. I mean, it's taking all my willpower just to be able to put a foot in the front of the other without just crumpling to the ground. I just have to hope that breakfast kicks in and gives me the energy I need before I'm forced to literally drag myself through the school gates. You had toast! What energy is toast gonna give you? While keeping my head down and my eyes glued to the ground as I soldiered on, I suddenly noticed that the vibrant atmosphere from before is gone. Silence has completely taken over, my steps the only thing making any noise. The air is still. Huh. It's a bit strange. Bringing my head up, I met with an unsettling sight. The street is deserted. No students, no cars, and even the cheerful chirping of the birds is gone. What? I hurry on forward, hoping to at least run into somebody. Anyone. Even the sun's once golden rays seem to be muted and the world tinged in dreary tones. But there still isn't a cloud in the sky. Okay, this is definitely starting to freak me out. I need to just... A splitting pain shoots through my head, stopping me in my tracks. Like a searing poker being thrust through my skull. Oh, I could just use my keyboard if I wanted to. A headache? Now? Nothing is making any sense. Desperately trying to keep myself upright as I clutch at a hand to my head, I stagger forwards. Unlike the headaches from before that gradually died down, this one only seems to be getting worse. Won't stop at all. Brought to my knees. I can hardly even think straight, my head threatening to explode at any moment. And then, through gritted teeth and a pained expression, I see it. Something that shouldn't exist. Yet clearly does, as confirmed by my own terrified eyes. Oh, okay, it wasn't even that bad. I had my hand up through the screen for no reason. A monster. It's the only word that can come to my scrambled mind. A hulking, grotesque mass of flesh with gnarled fangs and red-slitted eyes, seething with hate. The closest thing I can relate to it would be a dog, but no dog I know of is 3 times the size of me, its form practically eclipsing the sun. It snorts with flared nostrils, something like a steam being exhaled out. Given its tense stance and the fact that it's blocking my way, I can only assume it's here for me. But why? What the hell is it? Where did it come from? Why does it want me? 1,000,001 questions race through my head, but I doubt I'm going to get any answers from this. This thing. There's only one thing I can do when presented with such odds, and that is to... stand my ground, of course. I don't know what the hell this thing is or why it suddenly appeared before me, but I'm not going to let it take me down without a fight. Ignoring the pain that threatens to consume my skull, I straighten myself up and stare right back into the hateful eyes of the beast. And then, tightening a fist, oh yeah, some MIDI battle music. I lash out like lightning, my fist connecting with its head cleanly with a solid impact. Take this, foul beast! Wham! Okay, no. Bad idea. That did nothing. In fact, it looks even angrier than it did before now. All I've managed to do is bruise my own fist. I hope I haven't broken anything. I reel back from my brutal attack, giving the fist in question a good shake. It still stings. Ow. Now what do I do? My blazing surprise attack was met with a complete indifference, and now I think it's too late to run as the creature is gearing itself up for a charge, its front leg digging into the ground. This might have been a mistake. I try to turn tail and begin running, but the beast kicks off of the ground straight towards me. There's nothing else I can do. I brace myself as best as I can for the inevitable bone-shattering impact. Right before the beast can connect with me and bring my life to a grisly end, a dazzling, radiant light floods my vision, engulfing both me and the monster. The beast stops in its tracks, a guttural cry escaping it before it vaporizes before my eyes. What the hell just happened? Can I turn off the voice acting? Voice volume. I'll keep it on low. I'm still gonna do the voice though. Jeez, that was a close one. Are you alright? Sorry, I skipped it. A cheerful voice chirps. A welcome sound after the terrors of that thing. Don't talk to him. We have to leave before... And then another voice that's less cheerful. In fact, they sound angry more than anything. It's gonna be really hard for me to do voices, by the way, so I'm gonna try. Hello! Hang on. How do I get this out? Oh. Okay, so right click does that. Less cheerful. I gotta take a screenshot when they appear. for the thumbnail. The light soon fades, revealing my saviors. Though, this is definitely the last thing I was expecting. Two girls, roughly my age, stand before me. I blink several times before I scrub at my eyes, hoping things might make a little more sense. This can't be real. I'm having more trouble believing these girls are actually standing before me than I did the monster. Wielding weapons and costumes taken straight out of a fantasy book, and it's all a bit much for my brain to attempt to process. What the heck was that? A shadow. The more cheerful of the two simply says that to me, her stance relaxing some. Huh? Is that supposed to explain everything? I glance down at my feet where my own shadow stretches, but the girl bursts into a giggle. Not your own shadow, silly. That thing we just took care of, which you're welcome for, by the way, is what we call a shadow. The physical manifestation of all the hatred and negative emotions that might lurk in one's heart. So, basically Heartless from Kingdom Hearts. Normally they're not so aggressive during the day, though. It was really out for you. We're usually pretty good at nabbing them before they get to you, but this one completely took us by surprise. Alright, I have to turn off the voices, it's way distracting. I'm happy we got here in time. You're not hurt, are you? Oh, I'm Kenta, okay. No, I'm fine, but... As if things weren't bad enough that we had to reveal ourselves to him, and now you're just casually blabbing away things that no normal person should have a right to know. Have you lost your mind? I'm cut short by the more aggressive looking of the pair, whose expression had grown darker and darker as the cheerful one had spoken. Looking like she's unable to take it anymore, she exploded, causing both of us to jump. Aw, but he looks so confused. And now that he's seen one of the shadows firsthand, don't you think it's just a little too late for us to quietly slip back into the shadows? Her eyes narrow into a frightening glare. It's clear she isn't happy. But I don't think she has anything to counter that. See? You worry too much. We'll only tell him what he needs to know. No, nothing more, nothing less. The upbeat girl brings her attention back to me, a sparkle in her eye. Right, so, Kenta, where were we? We were... Wait. How do you know my name? Huh? Oh, whoops. She puts a hand to her mouth as if to try to take back the words. The questions continue to pile up and I still haven't gotten any answers. You idiot! Whap! The serious one wraps her fist against the other's head, who sticks her tongue out in a sort of a tee-hee, my bad kind of way. So you guys know me? I've never seen them in my life, and given how they look, I definitely think I would have remembered them. Well, we don't know you personally, but we've been watching over you for a while now. You've become okay. I must have some form of dyslexia. Not diagnosed, and I'm not self-diagnosing, but it's got to be there. You've become quite the point of interest recently, you know. Me? What the heck did I ever do to get so much attention? I'm just an average student who lives an average life, doing average things. Though after this, I guess I can't really call my life average anymore. Can't really go into details because, you know, top secret and all, but let's just say it's not in our best interest for you to fall into the wrong hands. You want to believe how much effort we've put into keeping you safe, you know. Actually, I'm kind of relieved we finally get to meet so you can finally appreciate all our hard work. She beams at me, leaning it in perhaps a little bit too close. She's throwing so much at me I can hardly think straight. Just, who the heck are you guys? She falls deep into thought, her nose scrunching up. I guess she's choosing her words carefully as to avoid another brutal assault from her partner. Think of us as your guardian angels, okay? Saying that, she gives her brow a flourish and it shatters between her fingers. Moments later, the shattered pieces of her bow! Not her brow, I'm dumb. Begin to gather around her, the shards piecing back together rapidly until they finally form a pair of wings on her back. A bow! I think. I don't fucking know. The wings, while not strictly attached to her, at least seem to function as they sway in the breeze and give a glimmer now and again. Why? Listen, I was up till 7:30 in the morning. I'm very tired. Wait, are they literally angels? Let me get this straight. To start from the beginning, the thing that attacked me, that monster, you call those shadows. Yep. And these shadows have supposedly been hunting me for a while now? Because apparently if they catch me, it'll be bad for unspecified reasons. Yep. Really bad. And you guys, whoever you are, have been combating them from the shadows to keep me safe from harm? She nods enthusiastically. Looks like I've just about got a grip on what this whole thing is, even if it was a little sparse on details. Knowing all this brings me to the conclusion that no choice but to believe him, why not? As crazy as this all sounds, I can't really deny the evidence before me. The monster was definitely real, and I have no reason to doubt these girls who destroyed that thing right before my eyes. Okay, so, what happens now? Well, now that the shadows have gotten more aggressive, I really don't think we can go back to our old job of watching you from afar. We were lucky to just barely catch a thing just now, after all. Somehow I don't like the sound of that, or what it might imply. At all. So we'll be parting ways for now, but expect us to be keeping extremely close eye on you from now on, okay? Bye-bye for now. She gives me a wink and a wave before taking off in the other direction. Her less enthused partner simply turns her head from me with one last humph before following after her. I'm soon left completely alone within the street, where just moments ago my entire world had been spun on its head. Did all that just happen? Jeez, all of this will have to wait for later though. Right now I have to focus on the bigger issue, being late for school! Yeah, because a shadow monster's attacking you because you're important for some reason. Pfft, that's nothing, I gotta get to school and learn! I break into a sprint as I try to make up for lost time, all the while hoping that I'll never run into those two again. Yeah? Are you really thinking that, Kenta? Somehow I just about barely make it to class. It was a photo finished through the door right as the bell went, but I made it. Taking a moment to catch my breath, I drag myself over to my desk, and the teacher arriving almost seconds after I collapsed into the chair. It's too close. None of the other students seemed too bothered by my late entrance. Why would they? Though at this point, maybe this is what they expect of me anyway? I've been pretty late at times, even missing the bell entirely some days. Mostly due to sleeping in. At least this time I had an actual reason for cutting it so close. However, after what happened earlier, I think it's going to be impossible for me to focus on the lesson. Beginning to wonder if I'll ever get an explanation for whatever the heck that was that just happened. Impossibly tall creatures, girls wielding magic weapons. No matter how I look at it, my brain refuses to accept it as reality. It goes against everything I know. I scrub through my hair, a faint headache still ringing at the back of my head. Being lucky enough to have a seat situated by the window, of course, I let my gaze wander out, my eyes vacant as I stare into the clear blue sky. The teacher is doing his usual morning speech, no doubt talking about the upcoming events for our school, but his words are just a dull mumble in my ears, my mind miles away. Those girls knew me by name. No matter how far I delve back through my memories, it's clear I've never seen them in my life. At least, I don't think I've seen them before. I think hard. Maybe too hard, to the point my eyes begin to strain. Nope, nothing. Can't recall a single thing that might shed light on this. Defeated for now, I tune back into the classroom while still keeping my sights set on the sky, the teacher's voice becoming clear once more. Now, I know it's a bit sudden, but as of today, we have 2 transfer students that will be joining our class. Transfer students? At this time of year? It's a bit late to be joining, don't you think? Even the teacher sounds confused as he announces them. And not just 1, but 2? How do I get the feeling there's something off about this? Because it's the girls you just met! Almost as if it's tied into what happened earlier? Ha! No, couldn't be. I'd like you all to make them feel welcome as they transition in. What did you say your names were? I'm Sayaka. It's nice to meet you all. I hope we can all get along. I bolt upright in my seat, head snapping towards the front of the classroom. That upbeat voice. Is it really? Sure enough, two girls I never thought I'd see again are stood before me. In my school. In my classroom, no less, wearing the school's official that is a horribly sexy school uniform. The cheerful one, Sayaka, bows politely to the class, flashing me a grin as her eyes pass over me. What? What is this? The other girl is less courteous, her arms crossed and her brow furrowed. She doesn't look too pleased to be here. At all. Her gaze passes over to me too, but rather than a smile, she gives me a nasty glare. She blaming me for this? Sure feels like it. The grumpy one beside me here is Sakari. Go on, say hi. Hey, don't... Sayaka gives her a playful push and she stumbles into the center of the classroom, everyone's eyes upon her. She looks like she's at a loss for words, her mouth opening and closing as her face gradually goes red. I guess she doesn't cope well under the spotlight. I'm... Hikari, nice to meet you all. She trails off into a murmur before spinning on her heel and storming her way back to Sayaka, practically hiding behind her. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Hikari simmers with silent rage, her hands balled up into tight fists practically shaking. I'm sure if she wasn't in a classroom full of people, things might have gotten violent here. With their introductions over, the teacher motions for them to take their seats. Wait a second. I only just realized the only spare seats in the classroom are... They're right around me! One of them's right behind me with a window view too, and the other's to my right. So that means they'll both be sitting beside me? Actually, this is pretty convenient. I can finally ask them just what the heck they were doing. Oh, hiccup burp. I don't like those. Sayaka, with a spring in her step, waltzes towards the desk behind me. Hikari stomps her way on over and takes the other one. The other desk. Ugh. I lean out from my desk to try and catch her attention, but I'm cut short by the teacher, who resumes whatever it is he's talking about before. Damn it. I don't want to get in trouble for talking during class. I'll have to wait till the break. That's 2 lessons away, though, which is practically an eternity. I swing back around to the front of my desk. Can't do anything right now, so I'll just pay attention to the teacher and... No. How can I pay attention to anything when 2 magical girls are sitting near me? I want answers now! Drumming my fingers against the desk as the teacher continues to drone on, I try to think of a way around this. It's better I don't speak during class, so... Ah! Of course! So obvious! I dig into my school bag and pull out my notebook and pencil. I'll just pass him a note. Simple and silent. It's a bit of an immature means of communicating, I'll admit, but I'm desperate here. I scribbled down my message. What are you guys doing here? I may as well get straight to the point. I tear the page out, almost ripping it in half in the process. Only one question is left. Who do I give this note to? You know what? Let's save it here. Do it again. And then continue it on the next episode. So thank you guys so very much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.